Hey guys, it's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Okay, let's get started. Today, you're learning about multiplication of integers, and it's a whole lot easier than adding and subtracting integers. Trust me when I tell you. So let's get started. 11.5 multiplication. I'm telling you, this is a lot easier than the adding and subtracting. Okay. When multiplying integers with opposite signs, okay, they have a whole definition thing in your book, but don't even worry about that. Negative times positive will always equal a negative. So negative times a positive will always equal a negative. A positive times a negative equals a negative. So positive times a negative equals a negative. Always. So anytime the signs are opposite, you will have a negative answer. If the signs are opposite, the answer is negative. Always, always, always. Let's do some examples. Negative 4 times 6. Remember when they're right next to each other? Negative 4 times 6. What is it, guys? Negative 24. How about 3 times negative 12? Negative 36. Notice this is negative, this is positive. This number is positive, this number is negative. So when they are different, when the signs are different or opposite, the answer is always going to be negative. Always, always, always. Let's do some more. 5 times negative 7. You have a positive 5 and a negative 7. So it's negative 35. How about 0 times negative 2? Well, anything times 0 is just 0. Don't let that fool you. Negative 9 times 8. You have a negative times a positive. Remember, when they're right next to each other like this, that means multiplication. Negative times a positive, negative. How about this? 7 times 2 times negative 3. Okay, in this case, this is multiplication, this is multiplication. That's not subtracting. They're all right next to each other, so you're multiplying all three of these. So you would work left to right. 7 times 2 is 14. That's a positive 7 and a positive 2 times negative 3. Positive times a negative gives you negative 42. Okay? So that's it for multiplication when they have different signs. When you're multiplying and they have different signs, your answer will always be negative. But what if you're multiplying integers with the same sign? Okay, so what if it's the same signs? All right, here's where it's interesting. Back here, where if the signs are different, the answer is always negative. Well, in this case, if you have a negative times a negative, your answer is positive. If you have positive times positive, the answer is positive. Okay, so when multiplying and the signs are the same, your answer is always going to be positive. Negative times a negative equals a positive. Positive times a positive equals a positive. Up here, negative times a positive, always negative. Positive times a negative, always negative. So if the signs are different, answer is always negative. If the signs are the same, always positive. You got to memorize that. For example, negative 8 times negative 9. You have a negative and a negative. Signs are the same, so the answer is positive, 72. If I have 7 times 5, both of those are positive. Positive 7 and positive 5. Multiplying, that would be positive 35. Please be careful with these. That is not negative 8 minus 9. Because of those parentheses, you are multiplying. It's a very common mistake. All right, let's do some more examples. Negative 6 times negative 1. That's not negative 6 minus 1. That's multiplication. You have a negative and a negative. The answer is going to be positive. Positive 6. Negative 6 times negative 1, positive 6. Negative 9 times negative 8. Negative times a negative, positive. Negative 2 times negative 3 times 4. All right, we're going to work left to right. Negative times a negative gives you a positive. So that's going to be 6 times 4. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive 6. So 6 times 4, positive, positive, gives you 24. Negative 5 times 3 times negative 1. Negative 5 times positive 3. Negative times a positive is going to give you a negative. So that's negative 15 times negative 1. So a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So 15 times 1 is 15. Go back and look and see if you can understand those steps. If I'm going too fast, it's because I don't have any students to look at to pace and go by. So y'all are going to have to rewind and pause and stuff like that. Okay? Remember with these, you work left to right. That's not subtracting, that's multiplication when they're right next to each other. Okay? All right, let's do a couple from your book and then I'm going to set you free. So turn to page 497. All right. Number 1, 3 times negative 2. You have a positive times a negative. It gives you a negative 6. 5 times negative 15. Positive times a negative is going to give you a negative. 5 times 15 is 75, so it's negative 75. Positive times a negative, negative. Positive times a negative, negative. Positive times a negative, positive 8 times negative 2, it's going to be negative 16. 7. 6 times 9. That's a positive times a positive, so your answer is going to be positive 54. All right, negative 12 times 13. That's a negative times a positive, so what should your answer be? Negative or positive? Negative. Negative times a positive is negative, and it's a negative 156. Okay, let's look at 13. 3 times negative 2 times negative 4. Okay, we're going to work left to right. Do the first two together. Positive 3 times negative 2, that's going to be a negative 6. And then times negative 4. You're not subtracting 4, you're multiplying, because see how they're all right next to each other. So negative 6 times negative 4, negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So your answer is positive 24. Negative times a negative is positive. Okay, this one, negative 6 times 3 times 5. Let's do the first two first. All right, a negative times a positive is a negative. So negative 6 times 3 is negative 18 times 5. Bring that down. Negative times a positive is going to give you a negative answer. And 18 times 5 is 90. So negative 90 is your answer. I'm going to do one more before I set you free. 17. Negative 5 times negative 1 times negative 7. All right. Negative 5. So you have a negative times a negative. That's going to give you a positive. Negative times a negative gives you positive. So you have negative 5 times negative 1. That's going to give you a positive 5 times negative 7. Bringing that down. So then you have 5 times negative 7 gives me a negative 35. Okay? If you need to rewatch this video, you can. Don't forget to work on the IXL that goes along with this. For homework, you're doing page 497, numbers 2 through 24 even. That's 12 problems. They're due Wednesday. 6th grade, you have IXL. That's due Monday. Okay, 420. And you have a test on Wednesday, 422. I don't know yet if I'm going to throw in a quiz. If I do, it's going to be Friday. Okay, do y'all hear that? Your quiz will be Friday. If I have a quiz. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Work on that IXL because that's going to really help you with this. Okay, guys? Take care.